Y'all, there is a serial unaliver on Indeed, allegedly. This is crazy. So I just did some digging into this, and allegedly, there is something going on where people are getting basically abducted, unalived in Atlanta after applying for this one particular position. Now, it's creepy because the position has been removed and it's only on there for a certain period of time. You know, the person applies just like any other job, and they receive a text message to their phone. And this text message says, like, hey, my name is so and so. We like to have you for an interview at this location. And it's like a personal phone number or text down number that's texting them. And people have met up with the person allegedly and were unalived. And they don't know who's behind this or what's behind this. This is scary, okay? Especially with this recession coming up and, you know, us being in economic times where jobs are even harder to find and people are really, really, really looking for jobs. This is scary. So be on the lookout in Atlanta when you're applying for work, just because, like I said, I hear a lot of people are getting these weird texts. And if the text message or the email is not a business text or a business number, I should say business email, do not text it back. Do not go there. Do not meet them, because I don't know what is going on, but all I know is something creepy and sinister is going on. I don't know if this is a trafficking ring. Like, it's just so strange and creepy, but I do hear it's only in Atlanta, Georgia right now. The person who's doing this or behind this, it's not a legit job. It's a scam. And this person is trying to unalive people. You know, some of these employment scams are just to get your social and stuff like that. And, you know, that's already horrific enough. But this right here is scary. So be careful. Make sure you don't put your personal identity information on there. Because they're doing a lot of weird stuff right now with people being so, you know, needing the jobs, second jobs. People need work 3 jobs nowadays to be able to afford eggs. So yeah, just be careful, because I keep hearing there is an update on the missing people after going to a job interview that was posted on Indeed, or should I say a job application being put in from a, you know, a hiring manager that posted the job on Indeed. Now there are a total of 17 missing people after, you know, going to the same exact job interview. This is so disturbing. This happened in Atlanta, Georgia. All these people tend to be women or girls, young girls, teenagers, young women between the ages of 20, in their 20s, 27, 35. These are the names of everyone. Everyone's saying that this isn't real. This is real, y'all. Please be careful. Like I said, there are scams out there to, you know, risk, you know, your identity being stolen or anything like that. Just make sure that you're putting an application in with a legitimate company. Like I said, the 17 people that are missing are actually missing people. This isn't made up. And I'm not 100% sure what job this was for. It just was a listing or a posting, and it, you know, it led to a virtual interview, or not a virtual interview, a link being sent to go to an interview. And the name of this person, the identity of the person that the job was linked back to, would, you know, get deleted and then put back up later. Like I said, when you do apply for a place, please make sure that you're not putting in your personal information or details, or going up to an address that is not real, or address that seems.
Have y'all heard about them people who apply for those jobs on Indeed, showed up to the interview, and went missing? If you haven't, you can go search it up and follow that story. But it kind of makes me think of this interview that my daughter literally just went on last week. So the job was supposed to be for DraftKings. And this is not to call out DraftKings or anything like that. I'm just telling a story of how it was presented to my daughter. So to start, my daughter had a phone interview with a woman who my daughter said the interview went very well with. The lady pretty much told her, "You're exactly what we're looking for." She was then invited for an in-person interview. She got an email that had the details of time, date, location, yada yada. When my daughter first got the email, she pulled up the address that they sent her, and my daughter came to me and she was like, "Mom, this place looks kind of janky, but I'm gonna go see what they're talking about." And I just want to insert that my daughter was unemployed for about a month, maybe more. So you know that feeling of like, I need a job. So she was just like, I'm gonna go see what they talking about. So my daughter shows up to the interview, and as she suspects, the place is janky on the outside and janky on the inside. She basically described it as a place that does not look like a real place of employment with like real employees in there. She said it was just like, it looked like kind of like a room and like another little room, and she said there was nothing but men in the back. A guy comes from the back and greets her, and they had like a little bit of an exchange because apparently there was some confusion about the time she was supposed to be there. He ends up having to go to the back and tells her he'll be right back. But my daughter wasn't feeling the vibes from the moment she got there. And she said that he was kind of shifty, like just the vibes were off. In addition to there being nothing but men in this building. She said when he went to the back, she had a moment to think and left. She said she felt very uncomfortable. So I'm glad that she had enough discernment to get the hell up out of there. Now, this is not to say that that job was not a legitimate job, but I'm a type of person like, if it looks like bullshit and feels like bullshit, it's probably some bullshit. And I pray for discernment, not only for myself, but for my children as well. So I'm glad that she had the discernment that she felt like she wasn't in a good situation. But it is so disheartening and so extremely sad that people who are unemployed, who are looking for real jobs, are falling into a trap because it looks good, it seems legit. They're showing up to these places to never be seen again, likely trafficked. So please, please, please listen to your gut. Listen to that little voice in your head. Okay, that's your discernment talking. And if you don't have discernment, pray for it. Pray for it for yourself and your loved ones, because these people have gotten very, very clever. So it is so important that you have discernment. Y'all stay safe out there.
Alleged. Because I just seen this other lady TikTok who was talking about how she had an interview and this guy had called her for an interview at like 7 a.m. for a warehouse cleaning position. I have a similar story. My interview was not at night. My interview was not in Florida. My interview was in Chicago in broad daylight in Starbucks right downtown. So this is how I know it's human trafficking, and I'm just going to shorten it up because I don't even want to be long-winded with it. So the interview had said that the post on Indeed had said that they were immediately hiring and they had weekly pay. At the time, I really needed a job, so I was like, hey, perfect. That's the perfect job for me. So I had got the interview, and I think I scheduled one for the following day. So I went to the Starbucks. There was already a lady interviewing this gentleman ahead of me, and the interview was very long-winded, and I had waited for at least 30 minutes for him to finish up his interview. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, this is a little bit unprofessional, but in my head, I'm also thinking it is weekly pay, so what can you expect from this type of job? So boom, it gets to my interview and she asked me all these questions, yada yada, like, do you have a car? Do you have kids? Yada yada yada. And she asked me all these like invasive questions, giving me all these scenarios and whatnot. And I ended up not getting the job, but I don't think I got the job because I wasn't qualified. I think I got the job because I was too smart. She was asking me a lot of scenario questions, and I can't really get too deep into it right now because I'm kind of occupied making some moolah. But yeah, she did ask me some like invasive, like not too invasive, but just like, oh, what would you do in this type of scenario? What would you do in this type of scenario? Blah, blah. And me, I'm smart, I'm quick-winded. So I'm just, oh, okay, blah, blah. But I'm still trying to get the job at the end of the day. So I don't mind answering the questions. And it wasn't like invasive like my personal life. But she was definitely asking these questions to see what type of mindset you had. And then also it was weekly pay and it was immediately hiring, and they could tell from those just two demographics right there that you might be a little desperate for cash. And I was desperate for cash at the moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm 21, I don't scam or nothing. I get legit W2s.
I'm not gonna lie, if you know, there's been weird shit going on in Indeed. Like, this is not like the first time like shit is going on. But I'm not gonna lie, when I be applying to jobs, like, I dead stop using Indeed, because when I apply to jobs, there's been like a couple jobs that I will apply to, and sometimes, normally when I apply to jobs, I like to look up the location and the area and stuff like that and actually try to see if I see the building. But there was this one time that I applied to a job. I forgot what job it was, but like the day of, I guess, I forgot to look up the address or whatever before that, doing my research or whatever. I looked up the address, and like the address wasn't like matching what like the name of the company was. It was like something like that, but it was like some weird suspect shit. Like, it was not adding up. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna go. And then it was like a far place that I've never been to, so I was not about to go. And then I get there and somebody kidnapped me. Like, I was not doing it. But if you know to be careful on Indeed. Like, this been like, niggas been talking about shit like this about Indeed for mad long. Like, this is not the first time that I'm hearing not probably, but somebody got kidnapped from Indeed applying to a job on Indeed. Like, if you know, do your research before trying to go to these interviews, because, yeah.
Indeed, but it turned out to be a very sinister situation.
Luckily though, I did make my mum come with me, so she was waiting outside. I was nervous, it was my first interview. So basically I applied for this job. I just dropped out of college, had a kid, fella was working, needed something that fit around the both him and my child. Found this job on Indeed, a couple of hours a day, all in nursery time, cleaning offices. And I was like, yeah, facts, I'll have that. So I emailed at like 10 o'clock at night through Indeed. I applied for it. I got an instant response through Indeed, asking for my personal email because the guy wanted to send over some, I don't know, the location and whatever, and couldn't for some reason do it through Indeed. So I sent over my personal email. I got another response immediately. Can you come to this at this time? I was like, yeah. So the next day, obviously, I turns up at this property where he told me to go to. Gets there, it's a 3-bed semi-detached house, and I was like, yeah. Obviously, no curtains up or anything. It wasn't lived in. It was just an empty building. So I emailed the guy. I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong place. I'm not quite sure if I've turned up to the right place or what. He's like, no, you have. I'll be there in a minute. So up pulls this white transit van. He backs it up into the driveway, so the back doors of the van are facing the window and the door. Didn't think anything of it. That should have rang immediate alarm bell. Out jumps this unkept, untidy guy. Work clothes, steel toe cap boot. But he has a valid explanation for this. So he says, I've got a construction firm, I need office space, and I have this empty house. I might as well use it. I'm going to convert it into office space, and this is where you'll be cleaning. So he opens the door, and it's just this empty house. Again, I sort of fell for that little tale he gave me. But he sold it. He was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, XYZ, this is your job, this is your role. And then he says, have a look upstairs if you want, just to get a feel of the place, he said. So, but he was insistent that I go first, and he was behind me, followed behind. Again, I was 19, didn't think out of it. I was like, yeah, no problem. So directly in front of me is a toilet. To the right of that is a bathroom. To the right and behind me, a 3-bedroom. He goes on to explain toilet, bathroom, you know, basic stuff. So I get to the top step, and I had a bad feeling immediately. I just had this awful, dreadful feeling. I opened one of the bedroom doors, and what greeted me was frightening. So I looked into the room, and there's a dirty double mattress on the floor. It looked like it'd been dragged through hell and back. And a curtain nailed to the window. So I knew something was wrong. I thought things started to sort of piece together in backing the van up, the way he looked, why I'm at a 3-bedroom house for a job interview. So I started backing out of that bedroom immediately. I thought, great, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. I had to be smart though, because I thought if he detects something's wrong, I'm probably brown bread. So I backed out of the room. Asked him, can I go to the toilet? Whilst I'm in the toilet, I text my mum, something's wrong. Please call my phone. Please knock on the door. Something's wrong. It was just a quick message. So she does. I think, I can't quite remember if she knocked on the door or not, or she phoned me or something, but we created a distraction. He obviously shit himself as soon as my phone rang, and as soon as, like, whatever happened. I can't quite remember. I remember him shitting himself. He backed right off. I walked down them stairs. I didn't say anything at all to him. I didn't even grab his attention. I come straight down the stairs, exited that property and called the police. I called the police straight away. And because no crime had actually happened, they didn't give a flying fuck. But that, for me, potentially dangerous. Had I not have brought my mum with me in that day, had I not have been nervous, I probably would have been a victim of a very serious crime, or crimes, plural. But that was all through a legitimate job website. So that put me off for a long time, applying for jobs through websites or sites. And I just did it in person. I was handing CVs out for a while after that. But it's a big reminder to me to be very, very cautious, very careful. You can't trust anyone. I'm going to do this dead quick. So when I was 19, I applied for a job through Indeed, but it turned out to be a very sinister situation. Luckily,
so we just ain't talking about the 17 people that came up missing in Atlanta, and they all applied to this one job. You know what? Y'all, we got to get back to the old days. We got to take it back. We got to actually get on our feet, take our resumes to these facilities, these franchises, these businesses, or whatever it is, and apply in person. It's so crazy that Indeed, there's no accountability on their end. I don't hear this on the news. It's like, what they doing with these people? And first thing that came to my mind was I can't really say that on here, but, they was, taking certain things out of people's, yeah. And it's so unfortunate because these people just woke up one day, applied to a job, said, okay, I'm going to this job interview, and they ain't make it back home. It's so sad. And it's all over Facebook, and ain't nobody being held accountable on Indeed. And how's your kids? How's your wife? They out here. They trying to get us. It's so sad. My prayers go out to them families.